From Richmond, Virginia, House Minority Whip Representative Eric Cantor. Congressman, first off, do you believe, like many believe, that this is a very rewarding day for Republicans?
No question, Brian. We're very excited here in Virginia, and I think the victories last night here and in New Jersey indicate that when Republicans stand united, we can win, whether it's in a northern state or a southern state, and we can appeal to the independent voters. And what's important, I think, to take out of these elections is that voters in both states were very concerned about the direction of the economy and rejected out of hand the economic policies being pursued by the White House and Speaker Pelosi.
You know, Congressman, that is my exact question, because when you look at the exit polls, the #1 issue in both of those states was the economy. However, is it because people are unemployed and looking for jobs? Or is it because they don't like all the spending going on Capitol Hill? Or is it both?
Well, I think it is both, Gretchen, because if you look, Virginia has an unemployment rate a couple percentage points below the national average. I believe New Jersey's is probably a little closer to the national average, if not above. But I think there's a general concern about the direction this country is headed. And when you see the level of spending that has occurred over the last 9 or 10 months in Washington, people are aghast. They cannot imagine the deficit that we are incurring and the resulting debt that will be placed on our children and their grandchildren. And as people around their kitchen tables are wondering how they get through the month, it's a disconnect to see Washington go through the kind of spending that it is incurring.
But also, would you say, too, if successfully as clues, McDonnell won because he talked about educations, roads, and taxes. He didn't talk about, wow, don't we have better values than President Obama? They didn't attack the president in particular. So are you going to encourage other Republicans to do so?
Well, listen, Brian, my local paper here, the Richmond Times-Dispatch today, said it was a sunny conservatism that won the day, that united people. I think that's a great way of putting it. Bob McDonnell ran a positive, solutions-oriented campaign. That was in stark contrast to the Democrat campaign here by Creed Deeds that was nothing but the politics of personal attack and destruction. And the voters in this state rejected that kind of politics, and the same thing goes for New Jersey. Chris Christie was about solutions to the high taxes in that state and the fiscal situation, the job situation there, whereas the Corzine campaign backed by the Obama White House was nothing but an attack machine going after Chris Christie personally and trying to malign his reputation and the Republicans.
Yeah, no doubt a lot of Republicans running in the midterm elections are going to be taking a lot of notes from those two campaigns. Let me talk to you a little bit about the GOP health care alternative, because I know that the Democrats kind of poked fun at you yesterday by releasing a binder of the Republican plan, and then when you opened it up, it was a bunch of blank pages. What did you think about being poked fun at, and what, in essence, is your plan?
Well, first of all, I would just say to my Democratic friends across the aisle, they ought to take note of these elections. The American people are not going to take to the negative kind of politics they're trying to practice here. And the Republican alternative is very straightforward. We're aiming to lower health care costs. And we will see that the Congressional Budget Office will validate our claims that our plan does just that. And what we are trying to do is trying to fix what's wrong with the system and trying to preserve what's right, versus what you see in the Pelosi-Obama plan, which is a $1 trillion overhaul of the system, which will lead us to single-payer health care, nationalize our system, and is paid for by taxing businesses and people who have health insurance. It's paid for on the backs of seniors, which cuts Medicare by over $500 billion. And frankly, it aggravates the deficit beyond that we can even imagine.
Congressman, we've talked to you for another half hour. I know you have a lot to go on. There's a lot of speculation there on where we go from here in terms of the political process. Congressman Cantor, thanks for joining us. And it is a sunny day in Virginia, actually, right now, behind you.
Yes, it's a beautiful day here in the Commonwealth. Thanks for having me on.
All right, good to see you.